Story of the Quran, Muhammad's miracle. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the especially merciful. In the previous videos, we have looked at revelation, gradual legislation, the 7 leniencies, and preservation of the Quran. In this video, we will look at analysing topics in the Quran, inshallah. The verses of the Quran are analysed according to all the established sciences. Firstly, the meanings must be in accordance with the classical Arabic of the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Secondly, all related verses and narrations must be studied to get the full understanding of a given topic, and the Quranic verses are used as the primary source of explanation. Finally, the topic is compared with modern scientific facts. Note, it is permissible to use scientific facts, which are proven, when analysing Quranic verses, as opposed to scientific theories. Scientific theories, such as the evolution of opposite genders, are not proven, therefore only based on subjective opinion. For example, if 2 scholars were asked what processes led to the evolution of the 2 genders, they would both give different accounts of what they think is appropriate, which has no scientific evidence. Muslims are to ensure their knowledge is based on concrete evidences, and it is not permissible to pass judgment on any matter where there is no solid evidence. Let us take a look at the topic of the sun, for example, comparing all verses, narrations, and scientific findings. The word shams, sun, is mentioned about 40 times in the Quran, and as mentioned, the primary source of explanation, according to the science of tafsir, is other verses of the Quran. Allah tells us that the sun is one of His creations, and He swears by it as it is one of His greatest creations. The sun is used for calculations, including indications of winter and summer positions, and for the timing of worship, such as prayer and fasting. The sun is also used to calculate special times to remember Allah, in addition to the timing of events. The sun is something created, therefore Allah forbids the worship of it, showing how it is a senseless act. Allah uses the sun as a comparative means to describe the comfort of paradise, and tells us the sun will be wrapped and joined with the moon when the last hour comes. The sun is mentioned in a dream. And when Allah refers to the sun in relation to people, it is referred to according to the concepts held by the people in their time, just as we still refer to the rising of the sun, or earlier people who thought the earth was flat and that the sun set in water. The reality of the sun is explained as being a source of light, and that it runs on a fixed course, as though swimming in an orbit. Allah describes all the creation, including the sun and the trees, as prostrating to Him, metaphorically speaking, as everything obeys the laws of nature which He created, and therefore are subjected to His commands. In addition to the verses in the Quran, the sun is referred to in many prophetic narrations, most of which are in relation to time of worship or events. However, there are a few which indicate upon the sun prostrating to Allah under His throne, and rising when given permission, which was in accordance with beliefs at that time of the sun moving, yet still indicating on the nature of the sun being subjected to the created laws of nature by the term prostration, and all the creation is essentially beneath Allah's throne. Bible verses also followed this same methodology of referring to the people's beliefs. The sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. There is a weaker narration which refers to the sun setting in a spring of boiling water. However, in light of all the verses and related narrations, it is clear that the author was confused with the verse which related older human observational perspectives. Therefore, that narration is rejected. Additionally, several narrations refer to the last hour when the sun will rise from the west, at which point repentance will not be accepted. Lastly, scientific findings. It is a well-established fact that the sun emits light, as mentioned in the Quran. Scientist Karen Masters describes how the sun is moving outwards and in the direction of the galactic plane in an orbit through the universe, which corresponds with the Quranic verses. And it is He who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, all in an orbit are swimming. The term falak is defined by the Handsweer Dictionary as celestial body, star, circuit, and orbit. As the verse is describing the motion of the sun, it must be referring to its orbiting throughout the universe, which means that recent scientific findings are congruent with the verses. NASA scientists explain how it is expected that the Earth's rotation will change and slow down, which could eventually lead to the planet reversing its rotation. The planets Uranus and Venus in our solar system rotate in the opposite direction of the remaining planets. This may explain how the sun will rise from the west on the last day, and it is further supported by narrations which describe a day the length of a year, followed by a day the length of a month, followed eventually by normal days, although Allah knows best how He has decreed for this event to take place. The universe and the sciences by which we learn more about it increase us in certainty of Allah, His power, and His ability to repeat the creation, as they are all from among His signs. And say, all praise is due to Allah. He will show you His signs, and you will recognize them, and your Lord is not unaware of what you do. Allah the Most High frequently calls on the people to look at the world, to reflect on the creation, and to use their intellects. Then do they not look at the camels, how they are created, and at the sky, how it is raised, and at the mountains, how they are erected, and at the earth, how it is spread out? So remind them. You are only a reminder. Then I swear by the setting of the stars, and indeed it is an oath, if you could know, most great. And of His signs is that He created for you from among yourselves mates that you find tranquility in them, and He placed between you affection and mercy. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought. For this reason, during the Golden Age of Islam, during the 7th to the 17th century, Muslim scholars were advanced in many scientific fields. Muslim scientists discovered the principles of flight, defined the theory of vision, originated trigonometry, pioneered quantitative chemistry, and began to uncover the mysteries of the universe. Algebra was developed by a Muslim scholar, and it was a Muslim scholar, Ibn al-Haytham, who established the scientific method which is taught worldwide today. This is a blessed book which we have revealed to you, that they might reflect upon its verses, and that those of understanding would be reminded. Alhamdulillah, all praises for Allah. In this video we discussed analysing topics of the Quran and took a look at the topic of the sun. In the next video we will look at deriving benefits from the Quran, inshaAllah, God willing. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. How perfect you are, O Allah, and I praise you. I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped but you. I seek your forgiveness and turn to you in repentance.